clothing. So what are you guys doing? I mean, you know of these other groups. Are you really interested in them, or you just wanted to know what they look like?
At this point, well, I'm probably gonna try to find out more about that book. I gotta know.
Are you gonna approach her?
Uh, I'll ask Charles to come with me. Hey,
It's
I'll like
probably a good thing
nonchalantly.
that I was
I'll be
thinking
like,
about going check out the book anyways.
I
I'll be like,
love the
hey,
idea of you like hiding behind Charles. You're like, "Hey, Charles, why don't you go talk to that lady over there?"
I'll try to draw his attention to the book if he hasn't already seen it, and I'll be like,
Okay. So Charles, you're approaching this woman.
okay.
She kind of turns towards you when you
I am.
approach and looks you over, and then turns her attention away again. Someone talking? I hear like very faint noise.
I think I hear just you on speakers.
Oh, okay.
I heard it too. It was weird.
Right. So what are Charles and Vinny doing as you guys approach?
I'll play the heel and I'll be like, hey, miss, I was wondering if you could settle a bet for us.
So when you do that, um, one of her companions, who is this really, she looks like she's a dark elf, and she's like super toned. So she's just wearing a leather vest and like some sort of like wispy silk skirt, and she like turns towards you and is just like, "You do not have any questions that need to be answered here." And she puts herself between you and this woman.
And I'll put myself behind Charles.
Okay.
uh, just a question. Nothing else.
Now, now, my friend, why with all the hostility? We do not come here for a fight.
She says, "I am Idori. I am tasked to protect this woman. This man that speaks to me looks to be small, tiny, cowardly assassin. Settled bet in my land is words said before killing a man."
We're not in your land. And I'll hide again.
So Idori is basically ignoring Benny at this point. And the woman with the book has not even turned to acknowledge this conversation yet. And so Idori's just looking at you, Charles, and is like, "Do you protect this man?"
Sometimes.
He says, "Then you are like me. Then you understand why I cannot let him near my master."
Well, he won't hurt anybody. He doesn't really possess that skill.
She says, "Ha ha 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 ha. I agree. He does not appear to be, but the best assassins normally do appear as such."
Vinny, an assassin? Now that would be a story I would love to hear.
I'll just smile. Eh,
So the woman in the back with the book kind of huffs and rolls her eyes and is like, "Idori, enough already." She turns toward you and says, "Sir Knight, why do you wish to speak with me?"
Well, we are new in the area, and this is our first lottery. And you seem to be of one whose standing puts you above the rest of the groups here. And I was wondering if you may have any information that may help me and my group out.
So, very seriously, she turns fully towards you and says, "Is it my hat? Is that what convinces you that I am an experienced adventurer?"
it's a very fine hat.
It is a very fine hat, but it is not the hat. It is much more the stature and the way that you carry yourself.
He says, "I spent so much time on the hat. Ask your questions. What would you like to know?
Well, as I said, any general information would be greatly appreciated. And any tips you may have picked up in your time as an adventurer here.
He says, "My name is Valriana Hypoxes. I am the leader of the Scorched Hand. I am an acolyte of our Lord and Savior, Nephes. We shall one day cleanse all of Osirian of the unfaithful."
Diana, what was her last name?
Hypaxes. Now, what's strange is she is not Osirian at all. She's not Garundi in heritage. She's very clearly Taldan. She says, "If you wish to know the general situation, then it is thus. The necropolis has not been opened in thousands of years since the plague of madness sent by Lamashtu to destroy the city. In that time, as you may know, the city has built up around a culture of grave tending, adding bodies to the necropolis only on rare occasions of great heroism, and charms of many of the Osirian gods, of Pharasma, and of many gods are made here. Holy symbols, all sorts of religious paraphernalia. Nephes himself blesses this place, for it is a place of great learning and of mercantilism. Wadi is the first city at the crux of the two rivers that pass before it spills out into the inner sea. Trade must pass through here in either direction, and the tax collectors here grow quite fat on it. There's one more thing you should know about this adventure, and that is, don't get in my way. I'm looking for something specific here, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to retrieve it."
But if we find it?
He says, "Well, if you find what I'm looking for, we're going to meet again very, very shortly."
Will you pay handsomely for it?
For the first time, her face shows some emotion, and she smiles slightly and says, "Someone will pay." And as she says that, you hear the voice calling. There's one of the acolytes is like, "Platinum Reclamation! Platinum Reclamation, please come forward for your lottery number."
And Benny will smile widely and start to run over.
All right.
Just bolt.
All right, you run up.
I will shake my head and bow to the lady and make my way up front.
Well, actually, only one person from the group can go up, so Venny's already up there.
Oh, Jesus.
They ask for your wooden token, which assumably you have.
Yeah, I'll rifle around for it and
All right.
hopefully produce it.
You're like, "Wait, I know I have it here somewhere," and he's like,
It's in one of these pockets. So I'll finally find it, I guess.
You put your platinum reclamation token in the first urn, and one of the priests, who is very young, probably about 15, pulls out a token from the second urn and holds it in his hand so you can't see what's written on it, and he says, "Please recite the 3 rules."
Rules?
The first priest is like, "This is very irregular."
Do I have any idea what they're talking about still?
I don't know, do you? Any Platinum Reclamation members want to come up and help Venny?
I'll just be like, wipe my feet?
So, the older priest is like, "Do you perhaps need to phone a friend?" "Platinum Reclamation! Can someone please come up here? We require assistance." And people in the crowd are laughing. Like, it's super unusual for someone to go up there and not know what they're doing. And so, you guys are rapidly becoming quite infamous in the city. So who's going up there to help out Venny?
Sir Charles, I think you.
Sir Charles does not remember the rules,
Oh
so
boy.
Actually, would a knowledge history help me remember the rules?
An intelligence check would help you since you just heard them less than 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's like every slave's hut is a memorial. Honor them and go with the lady's blessing. But
You're missing one, but yeah.
Ishi will go up there,
Okay.
and him being dumb will make an intelligence check.
is
Oh,
Nope.
nailed it. Okay.
Nice.
You recite the 3 rules, which are: remember how this came to pass. Every slave's hut is a memorial, and honor the departed.
Okay.
And when you do, they explain what each rule is supposed to mean. And so the young priest says, the plague of madness was unleashed upon the city of Wadi while religious authorities engage in infighting. This rule is a reminder that the necropolis is a holy place, and those who engage in needless conflict and banditry are not only criminals, but accursed. And the older one is like, cursed.
God.
Syrian is a land of cursed. If you fight among your party or among other parties while you are in the necropolis, surely Pharasma shall smite thee with a mighty curse. Curse. And the younger kid is like, please.
Stop saying curse.
And the older guy's like, very well. And the
No, I
younger
said-
one goes, every structure within the necropolis is a testament to the people who lived and died in the city. Explorers must not desecrate or vandalize standing structures or tombs, but preserve them as memorials as they were intended for. Some structures may be trapped or decrepit, but willful and unnecessary destruction will not be tolerated. And the older guy goes, yes, if you destroy them, you will be cursed. And he's like, please, please, Elder Priest. The dead should be treated with dignity and respect. If the interred need to be disturbed to recover an antiquity or relic, they should be returned to their resting place carefully. It is understood the ancient dead are often brittle, but there is no need for the contents of a sarcophagus to be summarily dumped on the ground. This rule, of course, does not apply to undead or other abominations. And then he pulls out, like, a contract and is like, please sign here, here, and here, and then fill out all the names of your adventuring party. Who's taking the clipboard with pen?
Benny's just still reeling from the repeated use of the word curse.
anyone
I will-
anyone but Vinny, please.
I will.
All right,
Well,
Ashley.
Ben is reeling. Ishi will go up and.
So, like, one of the things you're signing for says failure to comply with these rules can result in, but are not limited to, expulsion from the necropolis, a ban on continued exploration, seizure of recovered valuables, arrest, and prosecution. Please sign that you understand the laws you are signing to. You will be tried in both secular and non-secular courts.
She reads it very carefully, giggles a little bit, and signs.
You have knowledge nobility?
I might. I have
She
to
laughs
read-
at the non-secular part.
I, in fact, do.
Okay. You can make a knowledge nobility check. Yeah, this is a really standard contract. Nothing shady in here. It's exactly what you might expect from, Pharasmans. All right. So they give you your token upon which it says the Tomb of Akentepe. And you arrive on this map. And they kind of like ask you to leave, and then they call for the Scorched Hand. And when they do, that woman, Valriana Hypoxes, goes up and is asking for a specific thing from the jar. So you can't really hear what she's saying, but she's like pointing to the jar repeatedly. And then she says, erudite eye. And he's like, we will not give you the erudite eye. You will wait your turn and draw like everyone else. and they draw something, and she starts shrieking. She's just like, blah, 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 blah. And one of the priests like puts his hand on her and tells her to calm down, and she like breaks his arm. So, what are you guys doing now?
Getting away from that woman.
In horror.
No time like the present.
Yes,
Get out of here.
we should
We have to wait
leave.
till tomorrow.
I suppose we shouldn't make trouble like Valriana. And tomorrow we should go to this tomb of Akanteki. Yes.
But for now, is anyone else thirsty?
I am deep root.
I look at the tree when you say that.
He's thirsty.
So you guys happen to have a in-suite at the Tooth and Hookah via your contact here, and that's like your official contact, Abu Fayed, who has followed his protege here from Sothis.
Excellent.
So, you're in the Tooth and Hookah. Do you have any plans to discuss for your trip to the tomb of Akentepe tomorrow?
Can we
Has anyone heard of this place?
gather some information as it were, about this tomb?
Sure. You can make a knowledge local check to learn more about him.
Oh no. Well, I'll try it again.
Diplomacy?
Yeah, you could ask around about him.
What would it take to know like the natural hazards around this tomb?
There are no natural hazards in this tomb.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you'd know that automatically. The tomb is surrounded by like a 20-foot tall wall.
Heat. Lots and lots of heat.
Inside, there's nothing but sand and necropolises. So
Okay.
there's no living things inside the necropolis. Anything that grows, they send in like an extermination team to kill it. Charles, can you roll a d4? This is to see how many hours it takes you to find the knowledge you're looking for. All right.
All four of them.
Yep. It takes you a while. You're bounced around the city quite a few times, and eventually you're redirected back to the Tooth and Hookah, where there's a scientist who's conducting experiments in the desert here, and his name is Jorge Hamilton, and he just says, "Please, just call me by my first name, Professor." And Professor Hamilton discusses with you the various circumstances leading up to the necropolis being built, and that Akentepe was a military commander of some kind, very low ranking, but as he rose through life, his tomb was added to more and more, and eventually rose to a pretty decently high rank. And so his tomb was continually like reconditioned over and over again, and he was buried with his entire family and his life's goods. But much knowledge of him was lost during the purges of the Plague of Madness. But because you ruled so very well, you find the one person in all of Wadi who knows any shit about him at all. You have any other questions for this guy as long as you've got him here?
That's the joy of having stupid diplomacy.
Yeah. He's like, I happen to know a lot of things about Osirian and Wadi in general.
Since you're such a nice guy, I know everything.
I kind of look over my shoulder at Eshi. You have any questions?
I would have liked to know Akenteki's faith, but I suspect that is beyond even
He
this.
says, "Oh, quite lost. Assuredly, he was a follower of one of the old gods. The Osirian ways have been lost to their people for some time."
Well, I know that I'm from this country, you see.
He says, "Well, of course. But your friend was asking questions. Well, anyway."
I mean I know that the old ways have been lost for some time.
I love that this guy is like sitting there drinking a beer with a paladin, and then we've got this necromancer who's like 3 seats down. That's just like, please don't hurt me. I know all about religious stuff. Oh, oh, no.
She's literally like she's got a charisma of 8. I mean, she's
Role play it, brother. Role play it.
I am like that's the whole like
You don't see anything wrong with trying to control undead with a negative charisma. I can't wait for the first time you try to give one of your undead orders, and they're just like, "What the fuck did you say?" I'm serious, man. Check all these undead control spells where it's like, yeah,
You
make a
said
charisma
what
check.
to me? Yeah, make opposed charisma checks.
okay, D20 -1.
Why do you think anti-paladins can wreck face with control undead?
Oh man, the only thing anti-paladins are good at.
No, I simply wondered if he was a follower of the old ways or not. It is excellent to hear that
He would have had to have been because he died during a period when Osiria was still, pre-Inner Sea gods.
Ooh. Before civilization came.
Whoa! Thank you for the follow, Big Super X. Look at that giant follow tab right there. So beautiful.
Benny will just see if Charles can get him to tell us if there's any knowledge of how the place was built or special defenses.
Oh, he just
No
goes
idea.
into elaborate detail about how not only does he not know anything about it, but no one in the world would know such knowledge. That all of it was lost during the Plague of Madness.
But now, if we are lucky, we will see.
He says, "Oh, you'll have to be very lucky indeed. You'd have to win the lottery to get in there."
we did.
He says, "Ah, of course. Of course. Well, I don't suppose you'd happen to be selling ancient Osirian artifacts soon. Why, as a matter of fact, I might be looking to pick up a few. I'd offer you 50% price."
For a slight markup.
Sir Charles, I believe that the Hell Knights were offering 60%.
He says, "Hell Knights? What purpose could the Hell Knights possibly have? I am an Osirianologist. Do you really want your artifacts going to some foreigners?" Now remember, this guy's name is Jorge Hamilton, and he's completely talented, super white. But he's like, "Do you want it going to some foreigners? Or do you want them coming to me, a guy who knows stuff?"
Can you prove that you actually know stuff, Mr. Professor?
Yeah, so he begins with the beginning of the empire of Defenibet's reign, and just begins going through like his entire. He's like Demenefet, son of Tonefet, son of Direfet, and it's just listing out like all of these Osirian pharaohs.
So is he
Looking
actually?
you in the eyes the whole time.
Does he actually know his stuff?
Yes.
Or
Oh yeah, definitely. He's an Osirianologist for real.
okay.
So he has memorized a book of kings.
Yes.
Got it.
Probably many books.
He's the professor.
I'm gonna get some drinks. Lots and lots of drinks.
All right, your servant girlfriend helps you out there.
Oh yes, by this time I'm pretty much almost out of money. In fact, I think I spent all my money.
Okay, you already paid her to keep her eyes out for information. She like brings you drinks, but she's like, "Ugh. Oh, it's you, Vinny." And then she's like, "Why don't you introduce me to your friend there?" She's looking over at your shining paladin friend.
I'll look over. Actually, I don't think he'd be interested in you. And then I point to the necromancer, and I'm like,
He's like, oh, I guess if he's already involved. Well, let me know if you freeze it up. What kind of drinks you want from the Tooth and Hookah tonight? You just want a couple more
Uh,
beers, or you want some actual bread beer? Maybe something
uh,
local?
I
Can you-
think.
We've got some brew made from the rotted guts of a fish. Quite
Uh,
good. It'll get you drunk.
no, I think based on tomorrow's activities, we'll just take water.
Just like, Benny, it's a good thing you've already paid me for my services, because otherwise I would hate you. She goes and pulls you 4 jugs of water.
I don't think that will be sufficient for Deep Root.
So you guys have already been here for like a couple days. So she brings out like she brings out like what do you call those things? Like a dolly where you like push it and it's got wheels, and she brings out like a keg of just water for him to like put his roots into and then absorb into his body.
Mmm, tasty.
She
Straight
just
from
pats
the
you on the
river.
shoulder and is like, "That's right, big guy. That's right. Drink it up." She's like, "That's purified river water right there. You can't get any finer in all of Ossyria."
He's just gonna keep creating water to fill it back up whenever he has. He's probably gonna be high on water
I don't know.
as
that
long
you
as
can
he has
be
that
high
barrel.
on water.
Of course.
You're like, "Damn, I'm so high on water right now. Just getting
This water's
cranked
so good.
All that H2O.
up."
High
That's
quality.
how it works. All right, so Randa comes back with your drinks of water, and then she departs. Anything else you guys would like to do before you begin the next day at the tomb of Akentepe?
We've been in Wadi for some time, so we've already made these
Some
contacts.
of you, yes.
Based on those of us who were in Wadi for some time, having met these people, made these contacts, aside from the lottery disseminating lots for people, what's going on in town currently? Or is that like the talk?
That's the thing, man.
Okay.
That's the thing. I mean, so remember, this necropolis hasn't been opened in thousands of
Oh,
years.
I realize that's the big deal,
Yeah.
right? I just was wondering about the sort of.
No, everybody, like all business, everything revolves around that right now.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're gonna take a 10-minute break here shortly, and then we're going to enter the tomb of Akentepe.
Sounds good.
All right. So, yeah, let me get the clock started up here before we get going. Hopefully, everyone's enjoying the crazy ride so far. I know character creation was a bit weirder than normal. But players, you're enjoying yourselves so far, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
Things are going well. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, you didn't die during character creation. Thought that might happen. Especially for you. All right, guys. Please follow, like, and subscribe. Obviously,
Vinny
this
has
is-
not been.
Put on a leash yet.
Yeah, not on a leash. It sounds
Not
like you
yet.
guys are planning to. Follow, like, subscribe. This is just week 0, actually, character creation and adventure introduction for Mummy's Mask. We might have quite a few more weeks going on here. It sounds like people we at least have until the summer before things get weird for us. We have games many other nights. You can check the schedule on the offline page, so when the stream stops, or on the schedule button on the Twitch profile page. And yeah. You can also go back on YouTube and check the 7 or 8 other campaigns we have going on. We'll be back in about 9 minutes. Continue our crazy adventure. Nope, that didn't do it. That was wrong. All right. Be back in slightly less than 9. There we go. Perfect. Boom.